Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Ava Sear.
And I'm Sulor Garretson.
Roughly 1,200 demonstrators gathered on Saturday, October 18th at the intersection of Nordhoff Street and Zelza Avenue in Northridge for a local installment of the No Kings protest. Though the gathering was peaceful, organizers noted a lower turnout of students from CSUN than expected.
Millions of protesters took to the streets across the nation for the second No Kings protest this year. Our reporter Josiah Valenzuela tells us how the San Fernando Valley made its voice heard.
I'm outside Cal State Northridge, just one of the many locations to have held No Kings protests. People lined the streets, holding signs, chanting, and voicing their opinions. I made it to a few here in Los Angeles. Take a look. From Northridge to Boyle Heights, thousands filled the streets as part of a global campaign. More than 2,000 organized across the United States and beyond, drawing millions of participants.
No ICE! No King! No surrender!
While the CSUN protest saw fewer students, turnout still packed the intersection of Zelza and Nordhoff. Protesters shared different motivations, but one message echoed throughout. The U.S. is not meant to be ruled by a king. Some Republican officials, however, labeled the event as anti-American.
If we don't stop this administration, we are going to lose this country. But like I said, that's not going to happen. Fascism does not win in America. We don't like fascists here. We don't play that game here.
The No Kings movement has become one of the largest coordinated protests this year. While the Sherman Oaks rally saw fewer attendees by the end, demonstrators say crowds earlier filled Ventura and Sepulveda boulevards.
I love it. I love it. I was at the one in June downtown, and that was glorious. And seeing what I guess was 1,000 to 2,000 people turning out is astounding. And you can hear it. The honking's still going on. There's so much support for this.
In Burbank, chants and signs filled Abraham Lincoln Park as hundreds from all walks of life joined in.
All of it is against the current administration. We're really trying to create a broad coalition so that we can better stand up to this regime.
Over in Boyle Heights, protesters gathered at Ruben F. Salazar Park. One veteran used his voice to denounce immigration enforcement.
Taking people off the street without due process is not democracy. And so I will defend democracy as long as I have breath in my lungs.
While this No Kings protest stayed peaceful, Los Angeles has seen tense demonstrations before, like the anti-immigration enforcement protest where deputies fired less lethal rounds in Compton. And in downtown LA, where Waymos were ignited, leaving fireballs lining Los Angeles Street. Officials were on alert and had a presence, but aside from 14 arrests, Saturday's demonstrations ended mainly calm. Organizers met to plan and discuss future rallies. I'll bring you the latest when we learn more. From Northridge, I'm Josiah Valenzuela for Valley View News.
A piece of metal shrapnel from a Marine Corps training exercise struck a California Highway Patrol vehicle near Camp Pendleton during an event attended by J.D. Vance. Officials say the incident happened as Marines conducted a live fire demonstration over the San Diego freeway, where CHP had temporarily stopped traffic. No one was hurt, but the projectile apparently detonated prematurely overhead.
A Live Oak daycare worker is being accused of sexually abusing multiple children, and the facility's license has now been revoked. The Sutter County Sheriff's Office says 63-year-old Stephen Cruz, who handled transportation for the Cruz Auralia family home, was arrested on multiple felony charges, including lewd acts with children. Deputies say many of the alleged incidents happened within the home, and Cruz's wife runs the daycare.
The federal government is cutting $40 million in federal transportation funding to California after the U.S. Transportation Secretary said the state is failing to enforce English language rules for truck drivers. The decision follows an investigation into a deadly Florida crash involving a truck driver licensed in California who later failed an English proficiency test. California officials are pushing back, saying the state truckers have lower crash rates than the national average, and that the driver in question had a valid work permit when his license was issued. Federal officials say the funding could be restored if California tightens its enforcement of the language rules.
Proposition 50 is putting California voters in the middle of a high-stakes decision. The measure would temporarily suspend the state's independent redistricting process, letting lawmakers adopt a new congressional map for the 2026 through 2030 elections. Supporters say it's needed to counter partisan map-making in other states and protect fair representation. Opponents argue it's a power grab that weakens the nonpartisan redistricting commission and could shift several U.S. House seats toward one party. If approved, the new map would last for the next 5 years before the Independent Commission regains its authority to draw district lines. Voting day is this Tuesday.
The New York Republican Party is suspending its statewide Young Republicans group after the release of a group chat that included offensive jokes about rape and gas chambers. Party leaders voted unanimously to revoke the organization's authorization, calling the group grossly mismanaged. Chairman Ed Cox says the language used in the chat had no place in their party. The move follows a political report revealing messages among Young Republican members in several states.
The federal government remains shut down as the blame game is heating up in Washington. President Donald Trump says Democrats are responsible for the standoff.
It's a Democrat shutdown. It's a Schumer shutdown because his career has failed and it's over.
Tensions grew on the House floor when Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva was blocked from being sworn in.
For the Epstein files. He is doing everything in his power to shield this administration from accountability.
Both sides say they want to reopen the government, but with no agreement in sight, hundreds of thousands of federal workers remain furloughed.
Tensions are rising in the Caribbean after reports that Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro offered the U.S. access to natural resources in exchange for easing recent military strikes. President Donald Trump didn't hold back when asked about it.
He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States.
The comment came as the White House continues its pressure campaign on Venezuela's government. Trump says U.S. operations in the region will continue until, in his words, the threats are handled.
A new diplomatic showdown is brewing between Washington and Bogota. President Donald Trump says the United States will stop all payments and subsidies to Colombia, a move that's rattling one of America's oldest alliances in South America. The announcement came earlier this month in an all-caps social media post. President Trump says the Colombian leader Gustavo Petro is doing nothing to stop drug production despite what he called large-scale U.S. payments. Trump says those payments are a large ripoff and they should end immediately.
In Paris, a scene straight out of a movie, thieves carried out a lightning-fast robbery at the world-famous Louvre Museum, stealing what French officials are calling priceless jewels in a daring 7-minute raid. French police say the robbers used a truck-mounted ladder to break into the museum just after it opened earlier this month. Experts say the jewels may already be out of the country. They fear it could be dismantled or melted down, making recovery nearly impossible.
There's a major royal shakeup in the United Kingdom. Prince Andrew says he's giving up his title as the Duke of York after renewed attention on his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The 65-year-old prince and younger brother of King Charles III announced he'll no longer use his royal title or any of the honors he once held. Andrew says the decision was made with the king's agreement, explaining that continued accusations against him have become a distraction to the royal family.
I don't know why, but some of my investments haven't really panned out. What about you, Sulor?
Right. The prices keep going up, but my bank account seems to keep going down. Alexis, what's up?
Thank you, ladies. Wall Street hit a few bumps this month, but analysts say better days could be ahead. The Dow fell more than 300 points, being the lowest closer, while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq followed behind, snapping a 3-day winning streak. Analysts blame renewed trade tensions with China and mixed corporate earnings. Experts say the pullback isn't a sign of trouble. They expect stocks to recover as the earnings season continues and momentum picks up heading into the holidays. Ford is recalling nearly 300,000 Super Duty trucks over a rear-view camera glitch that could block the image in some lighting. The recall affects 2020 through 2022 F-250 to 450 Super Duty models. Ford says there have been no reports of crashes or injuries, and dealers will update the camera software free of charge. The U.S. has blocked a plan for the world's first global fee on shipping emissions. Backed by President Trump, the move derailed an international agreement aimed at cutting pollution from cargo ships. The decision came at a United Nations maritime meeting in London and ended without new climate rules. Negotiations will now continue into next year, delaying progress on reducing greenhouse gases from the global shipping industry. That's all I have for business. Back to you two in the studio.
Thanks, Alexis. Halloween fun without the scary price tag. When we return, we'll show you how this city is turning its streets into a free haunted attraction.
The Dodgers return to the Fall Classic, and the city's fired up. We'll break down their chances of bringing another title home to Los Angeles.
Bruin fans are packing the Rose Bowl, and the party starts long before kickoff. We'll take you inside the ultimate UCLA tailgate tradition after the break. Welcome back to Valley View News. Sulor, some of these theme park prices are scarier than the haunted mazes.
I know, right? Well, I might have some good news for you. For budget-conscious trick-or-treaters, Halloween in Los Angeles can get pricey, with theme park events and haunted attractions charging over $100 a ticket. But neighborhoods throughout Burbank are displaying a range of spooky stops, some even featuring live music and free mazes, showing visitors that they don't have to spend a lot to get a full night of fright.
It feels amazing that we put this on and everybody loves it, because a lot of people say they can't take their kids to Universal, so this is like Halloween for them. So we enjoy doing it every year. It gets bigger every year. We really don't have anywhere else to go. We've done the alley, we've done the roof, so we'll see what's going to happen.
Residents say the community effort has grown every year, turning Burbank streets into a family-friendly Halloween destination. So if you're looking for a Halloween fun without the theme park prices, grab a costume and head on over. There's plenty of fright and a delight for every budget.
Crenshaw Boulevard became the ultimate block party. From comfort food to powerhouse performances, Taste of Soul 2025 had something for everyone. Our Sulor Garretson shows us how attendees celebrated the 20th annual event.
Thousands gathered in Crenshaw, not just to eat, but to celebrate the soul of South Los Angeles through culture, connection, and community pride. More than 350,000 people packed Crenshaw Boulevard for Taste of Soul 2025, soaking in everything the 5-mile celebration had to offer. Soulful sounds filled the air while local businesses lined the streets. Food and refreshment vendors' options ranged from fried chicken and seafood to freshly made lemonades and sweet teas, filling the street with flavors as bold as the community itself. One attendee indulged in the various options, which left them building more than everlasting moments.
Gaining like 3 pounds, eating all the food. That's a memory I'm going to take away from this event.
But Taste of Soul isn't just about what's being cooked. It's about what's being created.
Throughout the day, families swarmed the main stage area for performances by major artists, all building towards the evening's highlight, a heartfelt tribute and special award honoring the Whispers. At the same time, neighborhood businesses had their moment to shine, showcasing culture, fashion, art, and entrepreneurship. And beyond the food and music, the festival underscored why events like this are so vital for small businesses.
It's a sense of community, it's a sense of togetherness, and it's a sense of belonging. Yeah.
And that impact leaves a lasting mark on independent business owners.
This is my 3rd year being here, and each time I get bigger and bigger and better, so therefore I really enjoy coming back, and like I said, I look forward to next year.
For the people of Los Angeles, Taste of Soul isn't just a festival, it's a homecoming. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Loved ones of Liam Payne are remembering the late One Direction star on the 1-year anniversary of his death. His girlfriend Kate Cassidy and sisters Ruth and Nicola Payne shared emotional tributes on social media, recalling their heartbreak and favorite memories with him. Cassidy posted a photo of the two together, writing, "I will forever hate goodbyes. I miss you, Liam." Payne died last October in Buenos Aires, Argentina, after falling from a hotel balcony. The singer was 31 and left behind a son, Bear, whom he shared with ex-partner Cheryl.
Apple is hitting the gas on sports. They're signing a 5-year deal with Formula One to become the exclusive U.S. broadcast partners starting next season. The move comes after ESPN's contract with Formula One expired, ending a run that began in 2018 and helped fuel the sport's boom in American popularity. Apple already had a strong connection to F1, having produced F1 the movie starring Brad Pitt. Executives say this partnership is about giving fans a front row seat to the world's fastest show on wheels.
It's shaping up to be another big weekend in LA sports, with the Rams, Dodgers, and Lakers all in action.
Yeah, a lot for fans to keep up with. Luckily, Josiah Valenzuela is here to break it all down for us.
Thank you, Ava and Sulor. The World Series tied 1 apiece with the 5-game set. The Dodgers are coming off sweeping the top team in MLB, while the Blue Jays come off a tough 7-game series against the Mariners. Dodgers look to close out the series before the Halloween scaries.
There goes Ohtani!
LA football fans have plenty to be excited about this weekend. The Chargers hit the field first with the morning kickoff against the Tennessee Titans, looking to build momentum and strengthen their winning record. Later in the afternoon, the Rams face off against the New Orleans Saints, hoping to keep their high-powered offense rolling. It's looking to be a full Sunday lineup for LA fans. LA basketball fans are in for a big night on Halloween. The Lakers face off against the Memphis Grizzlies at Crypto.com Arena at 7. An hour later, the Clippers tip off against the New Orleans Pelicans, looking to stay hot as the early season picks up steam. It's a Halloween showdown, and both teams are hoping to treat fans to a win. The girls are fired up, and the fans are showing their school spirit. Our collegiate football reporter Alfonso Vargas is outside the Rose Bowl with a look at tailgating action and what to expect from this weekend's matchup.
Right behind me is the Rose Bowl, where the UCLA tailgate is happening, where some might call it the pregame before the actual game. Fans get to eat, drink, and most of all, have fun.
Tailgates are typically held 3 to 6 hours before a football game. These tailgates have become sort of a tradition and provide a community at some of the biggest football schools in the country. Here at the UCLA tailgate, students, alumni, and just fans of UCLA gather together to garner a special experience before the game. With food being prepared, the parking lot was filled with the smoky aroma, and while that was happening, family and friends were getting together and playing fun activities. Tailgate attendees were also able to see the players go down a walkway as they entered the Rose Bowl Stadium.
Especially, I didn't know the players are going to walk through, so it's a first time experience that players are going to walk through, so I'm going to definitely see some of my favorite players.
Alongside the tailgate was the UCLA Fan Zone, where people got to participate in many events, whether it was playing a carnival game to show off the reaction time or going to a bar area where attendees were able to drink and just hang out. Fan Zone provided areas for fans not going to the stadium to have watch parties. The tailgate overall gives people the opportunity to spend time with their close one.
Enjoying time with the family too, so there's always a first for everything. It's honestly first time, really cool experience.
But as the tailgate nears its end, fans head toward the gate for the game.
The Bruins aren't the only team battling it out. UCLA will take on Nebraska in hopes to recover from the early season struggles. Alabama and LSU, two of the best teams in college football, will be going at it. USC is up against Northwestern in search of continuing to climb the ranks. Texas and BYU, both ranked teams, will be matching up against each other. Texas A&M will play Missouri.
The San Jose Sharks are apologizing after a scoreboard message appeared to praise ICE during the team's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. The message displayed said, "SJ Sharks love ICE, get 'em boys," which caused boos to echo in response. The team announced they feel regret and are investigating the origin of the message. Former WWE boss Vince McMahon is dodging a trial trip, but not without a few conditions. A Connecticut judge approved McMahon's for a pretrial program that could wipe away his reckless driving charge from a July crash on Merritt Parkway. The deal requires him to make a $1,000 charitable donation and promise to drive only if properly licensed and insured. If McMahon follows the rules, the charges will be dismissed within a year. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Josiah. Trick-or-treating could come with a warning this year. Coming up, we'll introduce you to what local law enforcement is doing to keep families safe this Halloween.
And you might want to hold off on that hot latte. We'll tell you why this week's forecast is serving up some more sunshine.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to Valley View News.
With Halloween just hours away, authorities are urging families to stay alert while trick-or-treating. Our Andrea Sosa talks with local law enforcement about how they plan to address this issue and keep the community safe this Halloween.
Thank you, Sulor and Ava. I'm joined today by Deputy Vincent Cruz from the Sheriff's Department. Vincent, thank you for being here with us.
It's a pleasure.
Because Halloween is coming up, I wanted to ask you, how do you know from candy packaging that there has been a little bit of tampering?
Well, usually reputable companies will seal them, so any rips in them or it looks like it's been resealed, it's an indicator that it may have been tampered with or if it's legit.
Mm-hmm. How often do you see packages on candies being tampered, like especially around Halloween time?
Very seldom, to be honest. Usually parents are really good about picking the candy from reputable sources, from stores, but we hardly ever get any calls that have anything to do with Halloween candy being tampered with.
Just in case, if there is a little bit of tampering on some of these candies, what are some of the practical steps that the parents can do to make sure that the candies are safe for the kids to eat, or for them to eat as well?
Like I said, they can go to reputable companies, go to neighborhoods that they know of, not to go to dark alleys, go through neighborhoods that they're not familiar with, people they're not familiar with. If they do find candy that looks like they're tampered with or looks a little iffy, they're safer to just toss it out if they're not sure. I mean, I'm sure the kids are going to get abundance of candy, so tossing one or two is not going to be harmful to them.
And you mentioned something very, very important. A lot of times, right, people do go door to door, like old-fashioned way, but now there is community events like Truck and Treat,
right,
where people can bring a bunch of friends and they could do it out the back of their car.
Right.
I wanted to ask you, do you think that's a step or a way for safety for kids when it comes to getting candy from known sources or from friends of theirs?
Yeah. It's actually way safer because these days communities will actually block off entire neighborhoods and just have the children walk freely around the neighborhood with no cars. It's usually the kids in the neighborhood, but you can go to local websites, find out if you're having one in your neighborhood or if there's a neighboring neighborhood that's having something similar. But usually there's law enforcement present, streets are blocked off, and they do have food trucks and different companies that bring candy versus just going to random houses down the street.
With these Truck and Treat events, obviously it replaces the old school door to door.
Right.
What are some of the benefits coming from it?
Well, you know who they're coming from. So if let's say for example you do get candy that is tampered with or it looks a little iffy, you can always source it to where it came from, in case anyone with nefarious intent does happen to slip a candy through there. You can always see who it came from and then backtrack that way, versus going to random houses and by the time you get to your own home and inspect the candy and it's tampered with, it's harder to track that way. So that's one of the benefits to having isolated distribution of the candy.
A lot of people, they don't really have the community to go to Truck and Treats and stuff.
Right.
They might have to go old school door to door.
Right.
What are some of the tips that you will give to young kids and parents if they're still doing the old school traditional way?
There's nothing wrong with doing it all the way. My family still does it that way as well. But you should look out for not only tampered candy, but homemade candy. Homemade candy, homemade wrapping, anything of that sort. A lot of people would like to give homemade dishes that they created on their own. A lot of people like to experiment with their own kind of candy making, so they will wrap it in their own ways. Not to say not to trust them, but I would take a second guess or second thought of taking candy that's not professionally wrapped. But there's nothing wrong with that.
I want to say, hopefully it never happens. Worst come scenario, they go old school manner, and they get a candy that looks a little bit dodgy, a little bit of tampering in there. What should parents do when it comes to candy? Should they just throw it away and just be it is what it is, or should they inform the local police?
Yeah, throw it away. Don't even inspect it on your own. Just throw it away. In the event you do find something kind of iffy, you may think it may be laced with some sort of drugs or something dangerous, I would notify local law enforcement and just let them handle it. And if they think there's something that's workable with it, they'll just take handle on that.
In your opinion, what are some ways the community can do to make sure there's safety overall?
They can communicate, plan ahead, communicate with your neighbors, which neighbors are going to participate in the Halloween festivities, which ones are not, which ones you should probably avoid, because I'm sure everyone has those neighbors that they want to avoid. So let's all collectively plan ahead. It's like, okay, we're going to go to these houses, and then also do some sort of community watch. Everyone has children, so if your neighbors can watch out for your children, get their phone numbers so that everyone's in the loop, and that will better ensure that the children are safe and everyone has a good experience.
With a lot of the fears of the candy, there's also been a lot of rumors on social media. How important is it for people to actually base off what they think based off actual reports compared to actual post on TikTok, for example?
Yeah, it's hard to kind of decipher which are misinformation and which actually real. Although the chances of getting tampered candy or any kind of harm from the candy is very low, it's never 100%, right? So we always want to do our due diligence when we're dealing with any candy, food, anything with children. So I would still always take the precaution before you let your children consume anything. And if they do consume something that sparks any kind of questioning or something doesn't seem right, just, like I said, just toss it or call law enforcement.
Vincent, thank you so much for your time and also for informing us about this problem that we're having for Halloween.
Yeah, no problem.
Back to you guys in the studio.
A New Zealand man holds the world record for the longest name, all 2,253 words of it. Lawrence Watkins says it takes 20 minutes to say his full name, which had to be pre-recorded for his wedding. The 60-year-old legally changed it in 1990 to earn a spot in Guinness World Records. His full name fills 7 pages on his birth certificate, but these days he just goes by Lawrence Watkins. Even though the calendar says it's fall, the week feels warmer.
Luckily, Andres Sosa is here with a look at the week ahead. Andres, what can we expect?
Thank you, Ava and Sulor. Temperature across Southern California will see a bit of everything this week. There will be warm weekend highs with a cooling down early in the week. Showing in the San Fernando Valleys, high climbs into the mid-80s Saturday before dipping to the upper 60s on Sunday. And Monday with it rounding up to the 70s later into the week, overnight lows in the low 50s. Downtown LA stays mild highs in the low 80s this weekend, easing to the mid-70s through next week with the lows around the mid-50s. Along the coast, highs in the low to mid-70s with the upper 50s overnight. Morning clouds and breezy afternoons as usual. And over in the Inland Empire, expect low 80s this weekend, cooler low 70s by Tuesday. Then warming up midweek, nighttime temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s. And that's all I have for the weekly weather forecast. Back to you guys.
It's not every day you see a surfer get outsurfed by an otter.
In Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz student Isabella Orduna was wrapping up a session at the famous Steamer Lane when a very determined sea otter decided her longboard looked like the perfect ride.
People watching from the cliffs called for help as the standoff turned into a full-on surfside spectacle. The otter finally swam off, but not before leaving behind a few souvenir strands of fur on the wax.
Orduna's fine, just a tiny scratch and a wild story to tell. She says it's a good reminder that the ocean is the otter's home and we're just visiting.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Ava Sear.
And I'm Sulor Garretson. For stories any time of the day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN.